I think it's fair to say that they simply cannot cope. It has been estimated that there are several thousand wounded soldiers of all nationalities that have arrived in the city. The Grand Place in the centre of the city has essentially become an open-air hospital, and the healthcare professionals have simply been overwhelmed. Perhaps the one saving grace for the wounded is the fact that the people of Brussels have done their utmost to help. Women as young as 18 are walking the streets, washing wounds, changing bandages and handing out refreshments. Nonetheless, there is talk of the authorities here asking the British government to send available military and civilian surgeons to Belgium in order to attend to the wounded in the following week.
And how have the French prisoners of war been received by the locals now that the threat to the Belgians' independence has been eradicated?
Interestingly, the French have been very well received here in Brussels. It has to be said that the Allied wounded do appear to have been prioritised over the French, but some French soldiers have received gifts from the people of Brussels as they have arrived in the city. This has caused some irritation amongst the Allied soldiers and might suggest the assistance which the Allies wounded have received is not solely due to gratitude, but it may also simply be a demonstration of the humanity of the Belgian people.
George, is there any news on the Prince of Orange's condition?
Well, there haven't been any fresh statements from the Dutch royal household on the Prince of Orange's condition yet, but hang on, I'm just getting this in. We know now that he was hit in the shoulder by a bullet from a French skirmisher late in the afternoon of the 18th. I'm getting this from sources close to the Comte de Rebecque, the Prince's aide-de-camp. They're saying that the Duke's condition is serious but not life-threatening, and that he is expected to make a full recovery. Now, depending on the extent of the damage that the bullets caused to his arm, surgeons may be forced to amputate. However, we have no word on this at present.
And does this seem to be a deliberate attempt to assassinate the Prince, or simply a lucky shot?
I think it's safe to say this was simply bad luck on the Prince's part. Muskets are notoriously inaccurate weapons beyond a range of 100 yards.
Okay, George Pearce live in Brussels for us. Thank you very much. Now on BBC News, it's time to take a look at the Prince.
Joining us in the studio is Daniel Schuster, an expert in contemporary art and caricature. Dan, welcome. Let's begin with the view from France.
Well, hello, Poppy. Yes, well, we have an interesting French print to start off with. Although it's unsurprising to see that Napoleon is being ridiculed, there is a striking similarity between this print and the Digue en Chambre, which was produced in 1814 following Napoleon's abdication.
And it's interesting that Wellington has been depicted in the same way in both prints.
Yeah, well, of course, there is very limited resemblance to reality, except for the nose, of course. Wellington was well known amongst his men for his dandyish dressing. He rarely wore uniform except, well, he rarely wears uniform except on formal occasions.
Even so, is it interesting that the more recent prints appear to hold Wellington solely accountable for Napoleon's current plight? Do you think this will become a dominant theme in the way in which the battle is perceived by the public?
Well, in truth, it's too early to be sure. We might expect such an attitude from the British prints. As you say, it's an interesting point.
And what do we have from Britain? I'm assuming this is a British print we have on the screen now.
Yeah, well, this is a lecture on heads as delivered by Marshal Wellington Blucher, as you can see on the bottom. Interestingly, it's interesting that it's Wellington that's in the act of killing a Frenchman whilst Blucher trails behind.
And am I right in thinking that we've seen a similar sentiment in British prints before?
Well, absolutely. James Gilray's 1808 print, Spanish patriots attacking the French banditti, again visible on the bottom there. Again, it's the British grenadier that's in the act of killing the Frenchman, which suggests that British attitudes have not changed that significantly.
But equally, there is something to be said about the contribution of the Prussians actually being acknowledged.
Yeah, you're right, and that's visible in our last print. This also includes Blucher, and he's working together with Wellington to beat Napoleon, quite literally. This suggests that this caricaturist really is acknowledging the value of the Prussians.
Well, now it's time to take a look at the reaction of the British newspapers to news of Waterloo.
Well, yes, the Morning Post has a proposal from a reader about a subscription to raise money for those left without fathers or husbands by the battle. This reader suggests that each parish provide one officer to collect the funds. Large-scale, small donations, as little as £6, would raise a huge amount to support those widowed or orphaned by the battle.
And interesting, the Morning Chronicle has also gone with a discussion of the relief for the widows and orphans left behind by the battle. A very noble effort indeed.
Yes, but there has been some discussion as to who exactly should be covered by this relief. I mean, should it just include those British soldiers involved in the battle, or should it also include the Belgians and the King's German Legion, for example? as yet there seems to have been no decision.
Well, thank you for joining us, Daniel Schuster.
And that is the news this Saturday lunchtime. Coming up next on BBC Battles, it's Battle Gear. But on behalf of everybody here at the BBC News team, goodbye.